Okay, question 7 is a 6-mark question. So it will be a very involved calculation, very long calculation. So you'll have to pause and concentrate. You might have to rewind a few times and watch over bits of it. You must make sure that you understand it from the beginning, otherwise you will not be able to follow the end. So you'll have to pause and repeat to make sure you get good understanding from the beginning of the question. So you've got 3 spheres of radius 4 centimeters that fit inside a tube. So you've got 3 spheres, almost like having 3 tennis balls in a tube. So the question is, calculate the percentage of the tube that is not filled. So what we need to do is find first of all the volume of the tube, then find the volume of all 3 balls, take that away, that will give us the volume of the empty space. Then we have to do whatever the empty space is divided by the total space of the tube to get the percentage. So the first problem is they haven't given us the height. The second thing is we don't know the radius of the cylinder or the tube. But actually we do. They have given us that information in the question. If you think about it, the radius of each ball is 4. So therefore, if the ball just about squeezes in, then the radius of the cylinder is also 4. Now if the radius of each cylinder or if each ball is 4, then the diameter of each one is 8. So from the top of the ball to the bottom of the ball is 8, another 8, another 8. So 3 lots of 8 means 24. So that means the height of the cylinder is 24 and the radius of the cylinder is 4, because the diameter from here to here is 8 and in the middle you have the radius which is halfway, which is 4, and the total radius is 4 in the question. So now we do know that information. The radius of the cylinder is 4 centimeters, or the tube is 4 centimeters, and the height of the tube is 24 centimeters. So first of all, how do we work out the volume of the cylinder? Now remember, for the volume of the cylinder, first of all in the area of the circle at the bottom, the base, which is given by is given us by pi r square, and then if you times it by the height, and that's the volume of a cylinder. So in our case, we know that the radius is 4 and we know that the height is 24. So using this formula and plugging these numbers in, I get this information here. So pi times 4 square times 24. Now if you were to put all of this into a calculator, you'll get the answer of 1206.37. But it might actually be better to just leave it in terms of pi. So do 4 square times 24, which is 384, and then times pi. So where did we get 384 from? We did 24 times 4 square is 384, and then times pi. So rather than getting decimal points and rounding and making our answer less accurate, if we leave it as 384 pi, we'll get a more accurate answer. So that is the first bit. So we now know that the volume of our cylinder or the tube is 384 pi. Now we will try to work out the volume of one of these spheres. Now remember, the formula for a sphere is 4 over 3 times pi times r cubed. But since we know what the radius is 4, we just put 4 cubed. So this here is the volume of one of the spheres. Now when you put all of this into your calculator, you'll get 268.08. This is the answer you should be getting, and with a lot more decimal places. And because if you don't want to do that, if you don't want to round and make your answer more accurate, it's better to leave it in terms of pi. So if you do 4 cubed times 4 divided by 3 and then times by pi, you get 256 over 3 times pi. I'm just going to explain a little something bit about this. Instead of writing it like this, I could write exactly the same thing like this up here. So I can write the 4 cube. Remember, it's times it by pi, it's times it by 4 over 3. So it doesn't matter which order you times in. 4 cube, times 4 times pi over 3. So this bit here can be written exactly the same like that. Now, if you put into your calculator 4 cubed times 4, you see the answer is 256. So just this bit here is 256. So 256 divided by 3, and then you still got your times pi. So 256 over 3 times pi. So if you do it like this, it's better because it will be more accurate. So the volume of one of the spheres is 256 over 3 times pi. So now, if you haven't followed any of this, please rewind back and see what's going on. Now, we don't have this one sphere. We just worked out the volume of one sphere is this, or this, okay? But we don't just have one sphere. We have 3. 1, 2, 3. So we've got times it by 3. So remember, the volume of one sphere was this. So 256 over 3 times pi times 3. Now, think about it. If we're going to divide by 3 here, and times by 3 here, they cancel out. So the divide 3 and the times 3 here will cancel out. So we're left with 256 pi. So the volume of all 3 spheres is 256 pi, and the volume of the cylinder is 284 pi. But if you do 256 times pi, or 268.08 times 3, but that was volume of one sphere, and you rounded it up, you'd get 804.247. But this will not be as accurate as saying 256 pi. So now, in terms of pi, if I did it in terms of pi, the total volume of the cylinder was 384 pi, which I've written here, and the total volume of the 3 spheres was 256 pi, which I've written there. So if you take the 2 away, this here is your empty space, the volume of empty space, 128 pi. So if you look at the empty spaces between the ball and the cylinder, the answer is the empty space is 128 pi. Now, 128 pi is the empty space. The total volume of the cylinder was 384 pi, which I've written there. So if you do the empty space divided by the total volume here and times it by 100, you get 33.3% or 33 1/3%. 33.3333 reoccurring, or 33 1/3%. So the empty space divided by the total volume and then times it by 100, you get 33 1/3%. However, if you wanted to do it using the decimals, the total volume of your cylinder was 1026.37, which I've written there. The total volume of your spheres, all 3 spheres, was 804. So you take the 2 away, you'll get 402.123. So this here is your empty space, and remember this was your total volume of your cylinder, and this was the total volume of your 3 balls. So when you took the total volume of the cylinder and you took away from that, you took your total volume of your cube, of your spheres, you got your empty space. So now we want to do that divided by that. The empty space divided by the total volume available, and then times by 100, you get the same answer as up there, 33.3%. But doing it in this way, using the pi method, is more accurate than rounding partway through and trying to solve the question. So if you didn't understand this, please rewind and watch it again step by step.